So today we're going to talk about the model. Now, the model is a unique concept and something that I have been learning for the past 3 months now. And I wanted to go ahead and share that, and we're going to deep dive. This is going to be a little mini series about the model and each of the different aspects and why those are important to actually know. We're talking about that this week on episode number 116 of The Relaxed Male. Hello and welcome to Relaxed Male, a podcast that helps men change their relationship with themselves. I am your host, Brian, and I am a men's life and mindset coach who is here to help you understand that you don't have to suffer at your own expense. You can live your dream, and I encourage you to set, then pursue your goals. So join me as I change the mindset and attitudes of men so that they can be the leaders of their families and their destinies. Hey man, hello and welcome to Relaxed Male. All right, so we're talking about the model this week and what the model actually is. Why is the model important, especially if you are trying to get yourself from being this guy, this nice guy who is just holding his own, just trying to squeak out a life, and the difference between that and having a life that just blows everybody's hair back. We're going to be talking about that this week. But before we do, I need the new folks who are coming in to putting on their earbuds and hearing me for the first time. I want to say thank you personally for taking this time out of your day to hear what the Relaxed Male is about. If you're not familiar with the Relaxed Male is a podcast, website, and coaching practice that's all mixed into one that helps nice guys get out of that nice guy mindset, kick that nice guy to the curb, put on the suit of masculinity, and to go out, conquer the world, and live life on their terms. In a nutshell, that's what the Relaxed Male is about. It is about changing who you are, changing what you think you are, changing what you think is possible. And we do that by one episode, one blog post, videos, and at a time. And so thanks again for listening. And we're going to be jumping into the model now because the model, is an important thing. I've been, going through my coaching certification just to, up the cred just a little bit, and wanted to, and the school that I chose to take talks about the model. And the model actually is such a powerful tool, but it's really simple. It's not a new tool. It's not brand new. It's not some grand, unusual, mind-bending concept, but it is something that has been put together and helps people to understand what the source of their suffering is, why they suffer, when they suffer. Why is it that they get so angry about some weird little thing? Why is it that they have why do they not do what they say they're wanting to do? Say they're wanting to start up their own business, but yet they haven't taken the time to actually make the steps or stuck in learning mode. Well, why do they stuck in learning mode? Well, that's where you can actually use the model, lay it out, and figure out where your suffering is, where that pain is, and why that pain is actually there. Now, there's a lot more to the model, and once you get the model figured out, that's where all the real coaching really comes to play. The model is just a tool to show a person what their thoughts are, and that's exactly what it does. It does nothing more, nothing less. It just shows you what your thoughts are. So the model is, like I said, a tool, and it helps a person to be able to actually, in a way, take their thoughts out of their head, look at them, examine them, and without any judgment to be able to say, well, that's no wonder I'm failing. I'm scared to death that I'm going to be rejected. I'm not even trying to get the business going. And so what are the parts of the model? How does this model, what's this model all about? Well, the model is actually 5 lines that you go through. You have a circumstance line, a thought line, a feeling line, an action line, and then finally your results line. And to really go through that, there's several steps you want to actually make. And the first thing of all is you need to have a thought download. You've probably heard me talk about thought downloads in the past. Thought downloads are a great tool. Just if you just are always overthinking stuff, you're thinking things through and you're just really beating yourself up, going through a lot of anguish, trying to get trying to go to sleep. A lot of times people will have trouble going to sleep because their mind is constantly racing. Well, the thought download I've mentioned before helps to clear those thoughts out, because your brain, when you write stuff down, your brain can stop having to fight to remember them. Our brain is beautiful and wonderful at thinking up thoughts. Terrible. It completely sucks when it comes to remembering. But it also gives you a chance to be able to physically see what your thoughts actually are. And so you can take 10 minutes, you can take an hour, but grab a piece of paper, and it does real good and works better if you take paper and an actual pen and you physically handwrite each one of those thoughts down and just make a line for each thought. Now, what's a thought? A thought's a sentence. Now, and a lot of people will actually do thought downloads as a paragraph. They'll do it as a journal entry. That works too. It all works just fine. You can just go through, write out each of your different thoughts that you're having, and that way you're able to actually see what it is you actually have rattling around inside your brain. And when you do that, you actually realize you free up a lot of the gumminess. You start thinking a little bit better, a little bit clearer, because your brain's going, okay, well, this stuff's down on hard copy. I don't have to sweat trying to hold on to this information anymore. But because you do that thought download, you also start the first step of being able to do your model. Now, a model, when you starting to hear me talk about the model, it is just a line of thinking, a line of actions. It's your circumstance, thought, like I said, your circumstance, your thought, your feelings, an action, and a result. That is a person's model that they are currently working on. Now, to start with, let's go look at circumstance. And each of the following episodes here, each of these episodes, following episodes, we're going to break down like circumstance. We're going to do just a full episode on what a circumstance is, a full episode on what a thought is, full episode on what a feeling, action, and your results are. And so I just wanted to kind of give everybody a brief overview to start off with, and to have a name for this particular action. So you got your circumstance. These are the facts of the case. Now these are just pure facts. They're not what you think of the facts, not what your interpretation of the facts are. These are just the facts. It is not that your wife hates sex. It's you're married. You have a wife. All right. Something that if you were to go to a court of law and you were to look at, and you were to present your facts to the judge, you could say, I am married. And everybody in that courtroom would go, why, yes, you are. Or I have a wife. Why, yes, you are. My wife hates sex. Well, no, she doesn't. Why? Because ask her. She says she doesn't hate sex. She's had maybe a boyfriend or two before y'all got married. And they can say, no, she doesn't like, she likes sex quite a bit. They can argue. They have their own personal views. So a thought is an opinion. It is not a fact. It is an opinion. So our circumstances are nothing but the facts of what that certain model is. So let's say, we'll go ahead and we'll stick with the you're not getting enough sex. All right. Well, first off, that is the thought. That is the thought of you're not getting enough sex. Circumstances, line of a model is something we can all agree on. So, like I said, you have a wife. You are married. If you put any type of modifier, any type of descriptor, any type of emotional word into that, it instantly becomes a thought. So you want to make sure your circumstance is a clean, provable fact. Now, the reason why is because we want to be able to understand that our circumstances are neutral. Everything that's happening to us, they are absolutely neutral. They're not good. They're not bad. Somebody gets, your grandmother died last night. Guess what? That's not good. That's not bad. You woke up in just a fine enough mood. You didn't realize, you didn't have a thought about your grandmother dying until you got that phone call and somebody said, Grandma passed away last night. Then you have that thought. Grandma's death had no influence upon you. And no circumstance in the world, no event in the world, no problems that go on affect you until you actually apply a thought to it. Because, if death affected you, then why are you not in constant pain because of everybody who dies of natural or unnatural causes every single day? Why? Because you don't have a thought on it. You're not thinking of the guy who just died in the car crash over on I-40. You're not thinking of your next door neighbor who, has lived to be 99 years old. You had no thought of Betty Davis passing away back in December until you heard about her death. Another great example is the World Trade Center. We can say the World Trade Centers fell on 9/11. That can be our circumstance. That's the circumstance right there. Now you can say that was a horrible atrocity to all the people who died in 9/11 attack. That is a thought. That's nothing more than a thought. And the reason why I can prove that to you is because there's videos of people on the opposite side of the world who just learned about the World Trade Center's tower, the Twin Towers falling, and they were on top of the roofs dancing. They were passing out cookies and everything else. They were having a celebration because the towers fell. While we were getting angry, we were feeling sad, we were in shock and overwhelmed. And also, the beginning of that day, beginning of 9/11, as you went through your day, you had no idea until someone came up and goes, "Hey, have you been watching the news? Oh my gosh, there's been an attack on the World Trade Center." What? Oh my. And now you start kicking into different thoughts. There was an attack on the World Trade Center buildings. And until you had that thought of, oh my gosh, that's terrible, it didn't affect you. It wasn't bothering you. You didn't have a thought about the World Trade Center. So those are your circumstances. Your circumstances are nothing but facts. Now, from the facts, we have our thoughts. Now, the thought line of the model is what we think of the circumstance. Our wife is frigid. That could be a thought line for the working model that we're running on. It could also be that it could also be a thought that we aren't making enough of a emotional connection to our wife, and that's why she doesn't want to have sex with us. Could be that she is been told that her grandmother died, and you don't know about it yet. You don't know what the thoughts are. Now, your thoughts are just your thoughts, and nothing from the outside can influence your thoughts if you don't want them to be influenced. A lot of times when we're talking with friends, what we're actually doing is we're sharing thoughts. I'm sharing a thought of, hey, this is a way to look at the world. Or you can take this and, hey, that's a way to look at the world. My wife is not wanting to have sex with me. Oh man, it's terrible. All right. Well, hey man, she's been with the kids, this whole week. And I know you've got 3 that are sick out of the 4. And so, yeah, she's probably a little tired. She's probably a little run ragged. Well, that's a thought that your friend gave to you. And you could either look at it and choose that thought to go, you know what? That's a good thought to have. And you place it you start using that thought. You start changing your model because you're changing that thought. Now, I've had a lot of talks about the power of thought. Episode number 87, disempowering thoughts, was a discussion that I made. The root of your suffering, again, episode 103 of this podcast was, again, also us talking about how thoughts hold you back. reason why you are not making it in the world is because of what you're thinking, other people's opinions, how you're thinking that other people's actions and other people's thoughts are affecting you. And no, it's their actions. Your aunt was being rude. Well, no, your aunt said a particular sentence, and that would be your circumstance. It would be you would say your aunt said, the 7-layer salad was dry. I don't know, or too sugary. I know you put mayonnaise and then sugar on top of that for a 7-layer salad. So say it's too sugary, had too much sugar on there. Well, you can choose to make that go, well, she's just being a rude lady, or she's just trying to be helpful. You can have whatever thoughts, other people's opinions. Often we want to say those people make us feel unloved, or these people make us feel bad, or these people make us feel mad, or these people make us happy, or these people make us feel loved. And that's all bullcrap in all reality. Those people have no power over what your emotional being is. And that's hard for a lot of people to understand, especially a lot of the younger guys who are just coming into the relaxed male. These guys don't understand that sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. And it's because words are just words. And I could sit there and try to use every Harry Potter spell on you, and it's not going to do anything. You're not going to all of a sudden keel over dead because I used, the Habara Kedavra spell on you. None of that is going to happen. Why? Because words are just words. Now, those words are our circumstance, and what we think of that circumstance creates our next line. Our thoughts on on that circumstance creates our next line, which is the feelings. Now, before I go any further, because I'm talking about feelings, doesn't mean that this is a touchy-feely, type of podcast. This is not a touchy-feely where we get in touch with your feelings or anything like that. It's not about that, but you do need to be aware with the emotions that are going on around you. And if you get angry, you get mad, you get sad, you get happy, you get horny, you get ecstatic, you get prideful, you get any type of emotion. That is an emotion. All right. Because a lot of guys, sadly, we don't want to express what our emotions are. And that's fine. You don't have to express your emotions, but be aware of what those emotions are. Because you're going to have positive emotions and you're going to have what are called negative emotions. And what we end up doing as an action depends on what that positive or negative emotion is. Because a lot of us, when we sense a negative emotion, an emotion that we really don't like to feel, say we're feeling jealous, or we're feeling defeated, or we're feeling, left out or unloved or anything like that, that unpleasant feeling causes us to make an action a lot of times to just buffer that emotion, or buffer, or turn into some type of urge. Say if you're a smoker and you are feeling a lot of stress, what do? You go for that dopamine hit to mask up the stress that you're feeling. When all it is just stress. Now, feelings are an amazing little thing, because all it is just a vibration that we're feeling throughout our body. It is just a vibration. It is something that we sense, or that we feel in our body, while a sensation is something from the outside in. We have the sensation of being punched in the arm, and that tells our brain, causes our brain to have a thought, which may in turn cause us to get angry. Why, how dare he punch me in the arm, and sock him in the nose back. Or it could just be, a kid was socking you in the arm because you looked at he made you flinch. All right. He threw something, acted like he was going to throw something at you. He was playing the flinch game. So you flinched, and he got to sock you in the arm a couple of times. Just make sure he wipes it off, or he gets to learn that you have a bigger punch. So we do things that will distract us if we're not aware of what our negative emotions are. So you do want to understand what your feelings are and how they interact with what the next line is, which is your action line. This is what are you doing or what are you not doing when you feel that particular emotion. So if let's go back to our wife rebuffing our advances. She says, no, I'm not in the mood, or I can't tonight, or my back hurts, or I've got a headache, or my big toe hurts, or Junior's, still awake, or, whatever her reasoning as to why she's not interested in sex are at that moment. We have a thought on that, which may create a whole wide range of emotions. It could be understanding of, okay, well, I get you. Yeah, I understand. Well, I'll go take Junior off your hands for a little while. We're going to go out and go play in the backyard. Or it could be that, you get, decide you're going to play the victim and you feel like your feelings are hurt and that it's just not fair. And you're going to go in the living room, you sit down and play video games and just not do anything. Well, that action is you going into the living room, sitting down and pouting and playing video games. That is you going out and going to get drunk, or you doing whatever it is you're doing when you could be doing something else. So is it better? Are you going to have a better connection going out in the living room, playing video games, or going out to the bar, get drunk? Or is it going to be better if you say, okay, well, how can I help? And you actually have a connective, have a discussion, have a conversation with your wife to find out what it is that you could do to help her be better connected to you so that she would be more willing to and able to want to have sex with you. And it could be that there's nothing you can do. And are you able to be okay with that? If you are, you can still be able to generate a better connection with your wife, or you can go out, or you can choose. They're all choices. There are no wrong choices being made there. But if you're sitting in the living room, you're decreasing your connection, which is the result line. The result line is the outcome of your actions. It's simple. If you're sticking to the wife not wanting to have sex, then the results would be that you're not connecting better with your wife. You're not having a better connection. You're not displaying and being as masculine as you could. And so instead you're being a child, and sorry, your wife's not going to want to sleep with a grown ass man or with a grown ass child. She wants a grown man, and a man who can handle, no, I'm not in the mood tonight. All right, well, cool. Well, I'm going to go hang out over here. So what's going on in your world? So what's happening? And we can do, conversations. We can do, different actions, and we can be okay with those results. If you're having an undesired result, then you can make a change in your thoughts to be able to attain the result that you want. Now, there's a few things that you do want to watch out for if you start trying to write out your own models, and you can just do that. You can just grab a piece of paper and write C on one line, T on one line, F on one line, A on one line, R on one line, and then write out what your circumstance is, what your thought is, write out what your feelings are, action, and result. And that result should reflect back to what your thought is. If it doesn't, then what you're getting is what's called a mixed model. You're probably adding 3 or 4 different thoughts that have nothing to do with that are individually set of what that model is. So you want to make sure that you get a very nice, clean model, and so that you're able to fully understand what those thoughts are. You can also do what's called model switching, and model switching isn't bad unless you're doing it to avoid an emotion. If you're model switching just to avoid the emotion, I don't like that, so I'm going to have good, happy thoughts. Well, okay, you can, but your life is always 50-50. So if you're negating and you're denying the negative emotions time to exist, you're actually making your life a lot more rougher. If you're making up an excuse as to why you're sitting in the living room, not having conversations with your wife, you're not fixing the problem. Yeah, you've made yourself feel better, but you're not fixing the problem that's actually at hand. So those are a couple of things you want to be able to look out for. If you are interested in having me help you with your models, you can always reach out to me. Go to relaxedmale.com/contact. Shoot me an email that way, or you can actually, we can work together. You can go to relaxedmale / coaching, and I can be able to we can set up a time to talk with each other and get some, a little bit of coaching in. Or if you want, you can also join the Brotherhood of Men, and that is our men's group. That's where we have a group of men who meet on a regular basis, and we talk out the problems. We work through whatever issues we lift each other up so that each of the guys in that group becomes the greatest man that they possibly can. So with that, guys, I want to thank you very much for listening. If you have any comments, questions, or anything like that, please do so. If you caught anything in here, you found any information in here that was great, advisable, made you think of something, laugh, groan, anything along those lines, share this podcast out. Share it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Parler, Getter, wherever it is that you are, where your group is. Share that with the guys there. Let them know. If you know of somebody in particular, most of the podcast platforms, you can actually just hit the share button and share that out to a particular person through a text message. Share this out. Let people know, hey, there's this movement out here, the relaxed male. We're getting men to start being the men that our society needs. So guys, with that, I'm going to let you go. Thanks a lot for listening. Talk to you later. Bye.